our brother, Luis Noval for prayer. So may please request that you all stand up and let us join let us join together in prayer.
Folks, family and friends of God, I invite you to bow our heads and pray. O Heavenly Father, as we mourn the passing of God Dada, may you trust his soul to your loving grace. May his legacy of fairness, equality, and integrity continue to inspire us. Grant solace to those who knew him, and may his memory fuel our resolve to pursue excellence and superiority in his absence. Tol Dada, may you rest eternal with the Almighty in his kingdom of glory. Amen.
So first of all, for those of you who don't know, it is our tradition in the fraternity to have this kind of service in order to commemorate and celebrate the past memories and the contributions of our brothers when they pass away. So first of all, the Lex Talents Fraternitas was founded in 1969. So seeing and Tol Danny Valdez, attorney Danny Valdez, was one of our founding members actually. The founding batch na yun, so 1969. Kaunang-una po sila. And we are here to give thanks to what we are, to give honor also to the things that he has done in the past, to what has resulted into the organization to what it is right now. The Lex Talents Fraternitas has produced several justices in the Supreme Court, Court of Appeals, and Court of Appeals in the Sandigan Bayan. Currently, our Chief Justice is Justice Richie Ko, and all of this, all of the government achievements, all of even also we were also able to produce a President Rodrigo Duterte. And because of that, all of these things, all of these wonderful achievements would not have happened or would not have occurred if Tol Danny didn't contribute to the idea of forming the Lex Talents Fraternitas back in 1969. Believe it or not, sa tanda din Duterte, hindi siya yung founder. Tol Danny was one of those people who brought greatness. He brought greatness to the fraternity, and it resulted in bloomed further into the generations that you see before us coming. So we're here to thank him and celebrate his memory. So first of all, me personally, I would like to I'm so thankful. Although I was never given the honor or chance to talk to him, I can see that from the people that have gathered here today, and of course, the number of people that Tol Danny was with during his law schools. He was one of his contemporaries, the great Justice Bambit Mendoza and Justice Nick Acosta, all former Supreme Court justices, were one of his, imagine na kaklase nila po yan, kabiruan nila po yan. Tatay, hindi nyo akalain na katabi na kasama-sama nila yan sa inuman, mga naging Supreme Court justices. So that's how great the crowd, that's how great Tol Danny was in the crowd that he ran in. So I'm very thankful for the opportunity to speak in front of you right now. And for my part, I would like to pass, and for my part, I think that's about it. Just want to express my gratitude and thanks to the contributions of Tol Danny to our fraternity. And also thank you also for being able to bring joy and life to our brother, Tol Danny Valdez. So now I would like to pass on the mic to Dada. Sabi daw dito, eldest ako, bago daw siya bago umulan. So, Miss Artie? Ano sorry for?
Jay, pictures. I know, picture ni Dad. Good evening, everyone. I am Tala Valdez. I am the eldest granddaughter of Lolo Dan. First of all, thank you for joining our family here tonight. I am sure Lolo is smiling at all of us right now. I was lucky to have spent a lot of time with my Lolo. I remember him happily playing his harmonica and ukulele all the time when we visit his house on weekends. Another thing I remember was that when I was 6 and started school in CSA, every Thursday, I would be fetched by Lola Rose and Lolo Dan. Since I didn't like eating my lunch in school, I always ate it in their car and took a nap until we got home. They would stay at our house and play with me until my parents arrived. Lolo loves to take videos and photos of Lola and me playing. Sadly, when Lolo had his first stroke, he was no longer able to drive, so they couldn't fetch me anymore. After that, COVID happened, and I wasn't able to visit him as often as I used to. I think he was still lucky though, because Yumi was already born at that time, and she lives with them. So at least Lola and Lolo had someone to play with during the times we were locked down. But those were the years that I missed being with him. Until one sad day, I heard from my parents that Lolo had another stroke. This time, they said it was worse. I remember crying a lot when I heard the news. Next time I saw him, he could no longer stand and could no longer talk. And there were times I struggled to remember what his voice sounded like. And that made me very sad. My parents would sometimes show me videos of Lolo talking to help me remember. If there's one thing though that I am most grateful of to Lolo Dan, it is because he is the reason I was named Tala. I love my name, and so does a lot of people that I meet in school, and even people I meet randomly. Everyone remembers my name. I was given a Filipino name because of Lolo Dan. My parents told me the story that Lolo always wanted to name his children with Filipino names, but Lola never agreed. She was afraid that her kids will be made fun of because Lolo wanted to name my Papa Datila, Tita Roslyn Diwata, and Tito James Tagumpay. My Lolo even wrote an article about it. His reason was that when you meet people from other countries, you would instantly know that that person is from that particular country. Like, if you meet a person named Tanjiro Kamado, you would instantly know that that person is from Japan. Or maybe, if you meet a Donatello, you would know maybe he's Italian. Anyway, fast forward to when my mom was pregnant with me. My Lolo floated the idea again. This time around, my parents' hearts were more open to the idea and searched for a Filipino name for me. And that's how they came up with Tala. Most people think I was named after Sarah Geronimo's song. But I always had to correct them that I was actually born before the song was made, and that the reason I was named Tala was because of my Lolo Dan. Lolo Dan, I hope you are happily playing your harmonica and your ukulele with God's angels in heaven. I promise to always make you proud, and I hope you continue to watch over me and the whole family. I miss you, Lolo, and I love you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Tala. So I would like now to call up for our next speaker, Dr. Gloria Valdez, the eldest sibling and sister of Attorney Valdez. Is she present?
Miss Baker. So, again, I would like to introduce to you, for those who don't know me, I'm the eldest in the family, a retired anesthesiologist from New York. Loving a loved one is incredibly difficult and quite an emotional experience. This evening, we stand united in grief and tremendous love. We are here to celebrate the life of my ever dearest brother and loving Don, my confidant, lifelong friend, cheerleader, and one of my superheroes, to say the least, in so many different ways. His departure has left us an irreplaceable void, and his spirit, laughter, and wonderful and treasured memories continue to surround us. Dan was truly an amazing gift to the family from the Lord, a real beacon in our lives. He was a testament to the vibrant and inspirational life he led. He was a man of courage, compassion, and boundless love for family and friends. His spirit was inimitable. His heart is an ocean of kindness to all who knew him. From our earliest days, Dan, though he was my kid brother, he was my outstanding mentor. He was in so many ways. Being a lawyer in the family has been a tremendous advisor in major legal transactions and successfully crafted real estate negotiations in my favor. Losing Dan has been very challenging to all of us. He has been a great inspiration to the family as he went through his difficult journey, and he met his challenges with good spirit and tremendous for 4 years. I truly admire her positive determination to live longer, but the Lord decided to take him in a better place, when there is no more pain, suffering, and worries. He had a soft spot for children, enjoyed tremendously his wonderful times with his precious grandchildren, Tana and Yuri. And wonderful grandchildren in Camille, and adorable grandchildren abroad as well. Aside for being a successful bank lawyer at Philippine National Bank, I admired his various interests outside his profession in the field of music, love of nature, and travel, to name a few. He was a self-taught musician and loved entertaining our relatives and friends, playing his special Suzuki harmonica and ukulele from Hawaii. In addition, he is an avid gardener and true lover of nature. He found solace in just listening to the rustling leaves of the trees he planted at the neighborhood park, joy in uplifting his mood against the vibrant, colorful blooming flowers in his garden, and watching the sunrise from his balcony. He truly believed in the healing power of nature, its ability to inspire, comfort, and rejuvenate. His love of nature was not only a passion, but a way of life. He traveled quite a bit in major cities of the country and won the friendship of so many government officials. As a medical missionary, which I come every year to the Philippines, I found this to be quite comforting to know they had made friends in our missionary destinations, and I was very much welcome to support the health care of their constituents. Every time I come come home to visit, and to my regret, not as often as I should. Don has always been an overwhelming welcoming spirit, has been a great company while spending memorable time at the Bellagio condo, just sharing stories of past treasured moments together. I can remember how we used to remember and cherish our precious, wonderful trip together with my deceased sister in 7 European countries in 2 weeks. Friends and relatives, as I stand here this evening, I'm not mourning the loss of Dan, but celebrating the awesome life he lived, the love he shared, and the dreams he shared as well. He will be remembered as a beacon of love, strength, and inspiration. His spirit will continue to comfort us and surround us as well. Rest in peace in heaven, my beloved brother Dan. You will certainly be missed, but your spirit and your unconditional love and light will forever shine in our hearts. I conclude with this profound poem by Mr. Ralph Brammer called The Broken Chain. We little know that morning God was going to call your name. In life, we loved you dearly. In death, we do the same. It broke our hearts to lose you. You did not go alone for part of us went with you the day God called you home. You left us peaceful and treasured memories. Your love is still our guide. Although we cannot see you, you are always at our side. One family chain is broken, and nothing seems the same. But as God called us one by one, the chain will link again. Now, knowing Dan so well, I'm sure he would like to impart this outstanding and profound message. And here it goes. A limb has fallen from the tree. I keep hearing a voice that says, grieve not for me. Remember the best times, the laughter, the songs, the good life I lived when I was strong. Continue the heritage. I'm counting on you. Keep smiling surely, the sun will shine through. My mind is at ease. My soul is at rest. Remember all how truly I was blessed. Go on with your life. Don't worry about falls. I miss you all dearly, so keep up your chin. Until the day comes when we'll be all together again. Take care and may God bless us all. Thank you very
For our next speaker, we'd like to call on also Sir Jaime Valdez. Dito po para wala masyadong echo.
I'm Jay Valdez. Muntik na pong maging tagumpay Valdez. Sabi ko na dapat present ako na una kasi medyo teary-eyed na ako sa messages ni Tanay ni Glo. So friends and family, thank you so much for being with us here today. Celebrate the life of our dad. Though somehow we have been prepared for almost 4 years after his stroke. It's still painful to lose upon, knowing that we can never speak to him again. But for now, we ask for everyone to take a collective breath together to celebrate with the truly incredible man my dad was. It's impossible to summarize the life of a man who was so abundantly full of life in a few minutes. Hanggang ano oras pa tayo? 5 minutes. Well, Dad always had lessons for us. Whether it is direct or indirect. Marami kami natutunan sa kanya. I remember when he was driving, he would always give way to other cars sa pedestrians. And then when someone gives way for us, he will say, well-educated ang tao na yan. So we it was his way of telling us the true gentleman's way is to let others first before yourself. And then, he would always crack jokes to gasoline boys, construction workers, and tall employees. Sabi niya sa akin, you can make them smile. You might make their day. At yung mga lessons niya dyan sa akin na maliit. Pero very meaningful. And growing up with that, I can say it's a bit tough. He may be frugal most of the time. It's not all the time. Kung bata kami, when we used to pick up in school, when he used to pick us up in school, lagi may box ng skyflakes sa kotse niya. Alam mo ko yan. So isipin mo, pagod ka after class, and then you play basketball. Tapos sasabihin namin, Dad, nagugutom kami. Sabi niya, sige, sakay na kayo sa kotse. May skyflakes. Sawag-sawa na kami sa skyflakes. And he also had his ways to discipline us. No TV, no computer on weekdays. And when we get overboard, asahan mo na yung leather belt ni Dad na medyo malakas na swing yun. Growing up, he's also a self-taught musician, as my article said, and very passionate in playing the harmonica and ukulele. Moreover, he is a musical weak. He didn't need chords or notes. He just plays by the ear. So once he gets to listen to a song, kaya na niya tutugin na. Actually, nagpapatulong ako sa kanya nun. Naturuan mo ako mag-guitar. Ano bang chords ang madadali? Sabi niya, sorry, I don't know any. Just give me a song. Tutugin natin. Yun lang yung In the 80s and 90s, the house blasted the music of the Beatles, Everly Brothers, Elvis Presley, John Denver, and Joe Manichan, to name a few. Yes, Joe Manichan, kahit hindi very much pinapatugtog ni Dad yan regularly, mainstay yan sa bahay. Pero one song stick to me up to this day. Iniisa-isa pa niya yung lyrics dito sa akin ng bata ko. Kaya I think also sa mga siblings ko. It was a song, maybe he was telling us a lesson by letting us hear the song. It was a song by Kenny Rogers. The title is Coward of the County. May nakakala po ba? If you would allow me, gusto ko sana kantahin yung excerpt from the song. Pero I'm sure si Dad, magagalit, sisirain ko yung kanta. So, magpasahin ko na lang.
No, sing it. No, it's okay. He wouldn't mind.
Dad, sorry. So the song is Coward of the County and goes like this. Promise me, son, not to do the things I've done. Walk away from trouble if you can. It won't mean you're weak if you turn the other cheek. I hope you're old enough to understand. Son, you don't have to fight to be a man. I'm saying mabigat yun eh. So in my adulting years, as I joined different groups and organizations, I occasionally asked Dad for advice. Knowing that he himself was likewise active in various groups when he was younger. He provided me with great advice on how I can deal responsibly with the different responsibilities attached to it. He was also my pro bono editor when it comes to my write-ups. To the extent na yung mga write-up ng mga drafts ko na ginawa, ni-revise na totally, wala nang naiwan. To the extent na yung groups ko, they still use it today. Akala talaga nila ako yung nagsulat, hindi nila magaling. But I did that. And staying with him in the same house for 36 years, in the year of that lockdown, I can say na we developed a natural need for each other. To better describe it, parang mag-asawa kami. We fight over small things, petty things. And what I admired about that, especially in later years, is how he would just walk away, tend to his garden, read books, and keep himself busy. Habang ako, I was left there complaining. Aminin ko minsan, I do it on purpose just to annoy him. Sorry. So that was a long time back lawyer at the Philippine National Bank and was also a public servant before he finally retired from work. He served as the city legal counsel to the mayor, Sangguniang Panglungsod Secretary, and the chairman of the People's Law Enforcement Board in Taguig City. Knowing him, I'm sure that worked for and gave back to our city with all honesty, exemplary service, and highest integrity. He was a simple and honorable man, someone who finds joy in the smallest things. He was a loving husband to my mommy, a responsible father to us, his children, a caring lolo Tala and Mayumi, my daughter, and a devoted brother to his siblings and their families. Dad, I'm sorry for all our shortcomings. I hope that you can forgive us. I also hope that we made you proud the same way that we are proud of you. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for everything. I never said this to you when you were well. And I hope everyone here gets the chance to say it to their loved ones. Dad, I love you. I will always visit you. And I'll bring you beer in the new garden. Thank you.
Yes, Sir Javi. Lastly, now calling on Sir R.D. Valdez to help us conclude the memory of Tolda Valdez. R.D. Valdez.
Thank you very much. Connect ko lang yung laptop ko. Prepare ako ng konting presentation.
Yun ang skill.
Good evening, everyone. Medyo mahaba-haba to, so I hope you bear with me. Sabi ni Jave kanina, it's hard to summarize 77 years of Dad's life in a few minutes. But I will try. Okay, so let's see. If at any time you feel like not paying attention, it's okay. I will understand. Si Dad na po ang bahala magkwento sa inyo mamayang gabi. Mamili na lang po kayo kasi may pakikinggan nyo. Okay, Daniel B. Valdez, after this, I just want everyone to know that the man in front of us today, kasi kami kahit anak niya kami, there are things that we just learned just recently, especially yung mga times na hindi pa kami pinapanganak. So Daniel B. Valdez was born to Felipe C. Valdez Sr., a lawyer, and Emilia B. Valdez, a teacher in the town of Camiling, Tarlac. He's the third of 5 kids and their eldest male child. Okay, so you met Auntie Glo earlier, the eldest. The second, si Auntie SG, passed away before that. Had his stroke in 2020. The third is dad. After that, it's Uncle Philip. He's here. He's from Kamiling. And the youngest is Uncle Ton. Flew from the US together with Auntie Glo. So, that was born in Kamiling, his hometown. As young kids, kami magkakapatid, we would usually go a few times every year to celebrate All Saints Day, Christmas, Fiestas, the Holy Week. In Kamiling, we camp in tents, we shoot birds, fish in the farm, join processions during Holy Week. We go to the plaza, sing Christmas carols, play all day. And not only the kids, even dad will play with us. One of the earliest stories I remember from him was how they would swim in the Carayan. Carayan is river in Ilocano. They would swim in the afternoon while the older women were finishing their laundry. And as the sun would set and everyone was getting ready to go home, they would play jokes on them. So ginagawa nila, maglalakad sila, mauna sila dun sa mga matatanda na medyo malalabo na yung mata, tapos magkukunwari sila na merong nakaharang na barbed wire sa path. So ang gagawin nila, pipigilan nila yung matatanda, then yuyuko sila, hahakbang, tapos itataas nila kunwari yung barbed wire. So lahat ng mga matatanda, lalayo ang nalabada nila, yuyuko para dumaan. Tapos pagkatapos nun, niloko sila na ngayon niloko, nagpasalamat pa sila. Another story was how he started taking his classes seriously. This is a photo of Dad when he was in grade 1. Siya po ito yung nakita ko kasi si lower left portion. So this is Dad, malapit ng mabura. Sa lumang-lumang black and white photo. So one day daw in elementary school, a teacher shouted and made fun of him in front of the class for being noisy. He was called a pulikak. Yung naalala ko sa kanya, pulikak. In Ilocano, I think it's small coins or barya-barya. The teacher made the analogy that while Dad has a well-to-do lawyer for a father, his brain was just a can full of small coins and nothing else. So when you shake the can or pick his brain, only noisy nonsense would come out. Embarrassed and hurt, Dad would never forget this moment, and he started to study. He would be an honor student from that moment on, and a consistent student leader until he graduated high school. So, I think, kinikwento niyo to sa amin para kami ma-inspire. No? Pero, ako, naisip ko nung pag napapagalitan ako, si Dad niya, napagalitan. So, siguro normal lang yun. No? After high school, Dad would go to Manila for further studies. While in law school in San Beda, he together with some classmates founded the Lex Talionis Fraternity, one of the oldest in school at that point. Dad is very proud of this organization. Like his brother said, this fraternity has produced so many distinguished people, among them Supreme Court justices, ambassadors, politicians, and even a former Philippine president. I am happy to know that a year before he suffered this major stroke, he was able to attend and celebrate their 50th anniversary in 2019. Lex Talionis is Latin for law of retaliation. Please correct me if I'm wrong. This principle, you must have heard about it in the Bible also. It's an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Nung bata kami, di ba, 80s, 90s, ang fraternity violence, grabe. So, sabi ko, anti-ibay yung fraternity nila. Pag galitin mo sila, sigurado babahoy sila. Yun ang nasa isip ko. Pero later on, I realized, that the meaning is more merciful and humane. No? An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Bakit? No? Siguro maaalala natin nung unang panahon, di ba, kung nag-hunting ka, gutom yung pamilya mo, babalik ka ng deer. Hindi mo alam sa hari pala yun, di ba? So pupugutan ka ng ulo, di ba, para doon. Or minsan magnanakaw ka lang ng pagkain, ng bread, putulan ka ng kamay. No? Ang ibig pala sabihin ng law of retaliation, as mentioned by Dalton, is yung parusa sa isang kasalanan ay dapat katumbas. Yung katumbas na bigat ng kasalanan dapat yung parusa. No? So dapat equal. Hindi pwedeng grabe. So, first and foremost, before I continue, I would like to thank these fraternity brothers who are here today. You give so much honor to that. Thank you. You would have liked it. That concept of fairness kay Dad, he would pass it on to us as kids. Nung bata kami, madalas kami makakita nito. No? Alam ni JB, alam ni Rosie, pinag-usapan na namin kanina, pag nag-aaway kami kung sino uupo sa harap ng kotse, maglalabasan sila ng mga palito ng posporo. Pag bubunutan kami, yung isa dyan mahaba, yung iba maikse. So gano'n, so wala kaming, pag nakuha kami maikse, sorry ka na lang. Ganun din, sa pizza, ang gagawin niya, yung unang pipili ng slice, let's say, kung dalawa kaming magkakapatid, so tatlo kami, yung unang pipili ng slice, siya naman yung huli sa susunod na round. So pag pinili mo to, malamang magbalik sa'yo, ito ka na. So gano'n, para fair. To a point, ayaw na namin pumili at mauna, no? Meron pa isang story yung chocolate bar. Kung sino yung magpuputol, siya yung huling pipili. So kung ako yung magpuputol, talagang papantayin ko yung tatlong chocolate. No? So gano'n. So hanggang ngayon, magkakasundo kami magkakapatid because we know we have to play it fair. After his studies, Dad returned to Camilin, and in 1971, he became the charter president and founder of the Camilin Chess Society. In 1972, he served as acting barangay captain of their barangay, Poblacion G. Hindi ko alam yung circumstances nun, siguro maybe may angles ka na, pero nakita ko lang dun sa album niya. In 1973, he passed the bar and became a full-fledged lawyer. No, however, maybe one of the biggest contributions to the town of Camilin is when, as a young lawyer, in 1976, he and some friends founded and organized the Camilin JC's chapter. The JC's or JCI means Junior Chamber International, and it's an international civic organization made up of individuals between 18 to 40 years. Alam namin nasa JC si Dad kasi nung bata kami, we would see jackets, we would see shirts na may mga logo ng JC's. We would see photos sa mga conference all over the Philippines as far away as Zamboanga. We didn't know the details. Nung nag-pass away si Dad last week, kami nila Rose ni Jane, naghanap kami ng photos that we could show sa slideshow. And we unearthed albums containing publications, letters, and awards. So, after the Camilin JC's was founded, Dad would serve as its first secretary. His best friend, Tito Adel, nandito siya kanina, would serve as its first president. Dad would also hold the position of editor of their newsletter, The Tangbuyo, which was the recipient of a Certificate of Merit as the most outstanding JC chapter publication of the Philippines for 1976. Incidentally, yung chapter na nag-award doon is the Parañaque JC's chapter, kung saan tayo ngayon and where Dad will rest, will be put to rest tomorrow. The following year, 1977, Dad became chapter president. Under his leadership, the Camilin JC's would become the best chapter in Central Luzon. Dad would also be awarded as the most outstanding JC president for Central Luzon and Northern Luzon at the Cabanatuan Joint Regional Conference of the Philippine JC's. In 1978, he became Secretary General for Philippine JC's Central Luzon, and in 1979, he became a member of the Philippine JC Senate and awarded by JC's International a lifetime membership in the JC's World Congress in Gothenburg, Sweden. So yung photo na to, hindi to sa Sweden, he received the award in absentia, pero maybe they went there to give the award. Aside from music, as mentioned by Jay, he loved to read and write. And writing would get him into trouble after law school, as he would eventually find it difficult to land a job. Apparently, some of his writings were noticed by people in government, and deemed unfavorable to the administration at that time. He was labeled as a communist. So to solve it, together with his father, my lolo, they would approach a prominent general in Camiling to try to settle things and ask for help. It worked, and he was able to land a job in PNP, where he would spend the majority of his working years. From 1975 to 1979, he juggled work in PNP with his duties in the JCs. Little did he know that things were about to change. Dad was assigned to PNP Baguio in 1979, and that was where he met my mother. So nahanap namin yung photo na to. This is Mommy. This is the COA area. Mom is an auditor in the Commission on Audit. Si Dad daw, according to Mommy, nakita namin to, wala na si Dad, so hindi na siya makakakontra. Nakaupo dito. This is the legal department in PNP Baguio. So nakikita ni Dad si Mommy. Pero sabi ni Mommy, initially may Xerox machine dito, nakaharap. The next day, wala na. According to Dad, kinento niya kay Mommy na pinagalaw niya dun sa janitor para makita niya si Mommy. According to Mommy, so hindi namin alam kung totoo yun.
Si Mami daw nagpalis eh.
Okay, so anyway, their love would prove to be so strong that Dad proposed within a matter of months. And they were married in October 25, 1980. One day before their first anniversary, I was born. Then came Roslyn and Jay within a span of 3 years. Growing up, Dad would be assigned to different PNP branches. And each would leave a distinct memory in our childhood. While in PNP Malolos, Dad would always bring home Ensaymada de Malolos. Hindi ko alam na yun yung tawag dyan, hinanap ko lang siya kasi naalala ko it's a big ensaymada with lots of salted eggs on top. Yan. While in PNP Calamba, we would always go to hot springs on weekends as most resort owners were clients of PNP Calamba. While in PNP Escolta, Dad and Mommy would go home at the same time. Since right in Baguio, they would again be working near each other. And while in PNP Buendia, Dad would pick us up every afternoon in Don Bosco instead of the school bus. All in all, Dad would work for almost 25 years in PNP until he retired in 1999. During his brief period of retirement, Dad joined the Knights of Columbus. The KFC is a global Catholic fraternal service organization dedicated to promoting and conducting educational, charitable, religious, and social welfare works. Earlier, they honored Dad. Thank you very much to his fellow Knights who are still here. Dad also became the president of the Homeowners Association of Mahogany Homes, a village in Taguig where Dad and Mom decided to build their home. It's a small community where they raised us and where everyone knew each other. Marami pong taga-Mahogany dito. Thank you po for coming. In fact, my sister and brother both married someone who grew up in the same village. That is also where they both built their own homes. So ako po parati akong sinasabihan ni Mami, lumipat ka na dito, benta mo na yung bahay mo. Dad would also later establish a small law office in Taguig, where some of the clients he represented can't even afford the services of a lawyer. They would sometimes, I could see them visiting the house on weekends. Even on weekends, they would sometimes pay him in kind, fruits, fish, or whatever they can spare. Back then, Taguig was still a town. People started getting familiar, noticing him. Eventually, Dad was introduced to former Congressman Dante Tina and was involved in his campaign when the latter ran for mayor of Taguig. Though he would lose to the incumbent mayor, Dad maintained and continued their friendship while at the same time continuing his law office. After 3 years, it was Dante Tina's son Freddy who would run for mayor since Congressman Dante was appointed to the Supreme Court. Though Dad was again involved in the campaign, and this time Mayor Freddy would win. During Mayor Freddy's 9 years in office, Dad served, as mentioned by Jay, as head of the Taguig City's legal department, and later on as the City Council Secretary. He also played a part in Taguig's bid for cityhood and fighting for Taguig's claim to the Bonifacio Global City, which was also being claimed by Makati back then. One proud story I remember is, I also worked in the City Hall for a year. And I would go home, ride the jeep. It's a 30-minute ride to our home. During the re-election of the second term of Freddy Inga, wala pang Facebook noon, so all propaganda were given out in pamphlets. There was this comic strip, and then the opposition handed it out to the jeep, to all the passengers in the jeep. I got one. You could see the mayor there, Mayor Freddy, then corruption allegations. There's a comic strip where he was laughing, and then you could see the vice mayor, all the councilors were there. Then as you flip through the pages, nagsisimula na mga department heads. And kinakabahan ako kasi marami akong kasamang taga City Hall dun sa jeep eh. No, so I was worried, nandun si Dad, lahat sila, tinitingnan lang, nagtatawanan sila. Dad wasn't there. No, wala siya dun. Hindi siya kasama. O pagdating ko sa bahay, sabi ko sa kanya, Dad, wala ka dito. Bakit ganun? Ganun ka ba ganun hindi kasi sabi niya, kaibigan mo lahat, pati yung mga kalaban. Anyway, Dad suffered his first major health emergency in 2010, a few months before I got married to Kate. And this is what would force him to partially retire. He had a heart attack and received his first stent procedure. He survived, but I remember praying back then for him to live long enough to see his grandchildren. God answered my prayers, and he was able to meet Tala in 2011. Just over a year after his heart attack. He would have 2 or 3 more stents over the coming years. In 2018, Dad's second apo Yumi was born. Hindi ko na po siguro ikikwento yung mga susunod na mangyayari. No? I'm sure na kwento na namin nila mami or ng mga kapatid ko yung series of strokes ni Dad and how it eventually led to this. Besides, those were painful years for our family. Personally for me, his last stroke was even more painful than his death, as so much has been taken away from him. But it is also very comforting to know that when it was his time to go, Dad was ready. And looking back, God gave our family those last 4 years to get ourselves ready as well. I learned a lot of things from Dad, as mentioned ni Jake kanina. Hindi ko nasasabihin lahat kasi ano niya yun speech niya yun. But in closing, there's one thing I'd like to share. It's how Dad taught me to be patient. Dad is a very patient man. I think na-mention ni Jay. He's not a religious person, and he does not even go to church weekly. But Dad once told me, if you are caught in traffic or waiting in line for a long time, and your patience is wearing thin, try to use the moment to pray and just talk to God. I've done this already, and it has helped a lot to calm me in those situations. You won't even notice that you've been waiting that long. I highly encourage everyone to try it. And maybe if you get into the practice, please try to squeeze in a little prayer for that as well. Thank you.
Thank you po. Thank you po, Sir Artie, for the wonderful speech and also for the insight on how our beloved fraternity was established. Isa din po yan sa mga tiniteach ng mga elders sa amin of one of the things that Daddy told Sir Artie. And also to further add to that, the next study on fraternitas was based on the law of retaliation, that is true. And also, aside from that, to add further meaning is to retaliate against the tribulations of life. So, in other words, talagang Daddy passed on the tradition or the value, the tradition na kailangan in every part of our lives, there will always be endeavors and hardships to face. And matutumba ka talaga and at the end of the day, all we can do is, bumawi. So, to conclude it, and just to take into consideration all the things that you have said. Thank you for that. We would like to thank all of you for the deep love that you have given to our brother Danny Valdez, and that gawin ko talaga yung servisyo na binigay ni Tol Danny sa fraternity, sa public, being a former public servant, and also the service that he gave to his family and his wife and children, and to all other people that he has touched with his actions. So to conclude this service, I would like to thank the family and friends that have came and had the patience to listen to the wonderful stories about our brother Danny Valdez. So before we end this, I would like to call on the fraternity brothers of the Stories of Fraternity, and we will be saying our last scream in honor of this name.
Tol Danny, we owe you our identity as Lexta. Tol Danny, we owe you our identity as Lextaliones. Your loyalty and service to the fraternity have inspired us to become highly respected members of the legal profession. Though death may have silenced you, your spirit shouts, Lex Talionis. As you now take your rest, we, your brothers in the fraternity, will recite for you your final credo. You are a Talion, you shall always be so. You have always devoted yourself to the ideals upon which our fraternity was based. You have always stood by the convictions upon which our fraternity was established. You have always complied with the twofold duty of loyalty and service, which you owe to the fraternity. These ideals and convictions have guided you in your pursuit of excellency and superiority as a student, as a lawyer, and as a public servant. Rest now beside the Almighty in His kingdom of glory.
Thank you po, and this concludes our coverage service.
Thank you.